so excited. Cyberpunk is finally coming out. The first reviews.
Game with serious performance issues.
It fails to hit even the lowest bar of technical quality.
To be honest, not looking altogether too good.
The launch of this game was a complete disaster.
Or maybe your experience was more like this. Or this.
Now that that's over, you okay?
We all have stories about how a cyberpunk adventure started. And let's be honest, it didn't start great. Forward 3 years. CD Projekt Red is close to completing its redemption arc. We've got ray tracing, consoles with 60 frames per second performance mode, doesn't even run on the base PS4 and Xbox One anymore. Knowing all this, how can the Steam Deck possibly keep up and run this game competently? The odds seem insurmountably stacked against the Steam Deck. Can this little Steam Deck that could defy the odds yet again? Are we going to see another impossible port, speaking in Nintendo Switch terms here? Will Phantom Liberty be boundary defying? All I know is that I forgot how much I freaking love this game and its story. Let's take a look.
Out of my fucking way, now!
Fucker, open fire!
That was my first foray into Phantom Liberty's new area, Dogtown. Apparently they weren't too keen on some outsider just waltzing in. You can't just go around doing this anymore. Sorry, I didn't mean to... Oh, hang on!
A few moments later.
Suspect is a confirmed cyber psycho.
No, it was just a miss. Gone are the days where you could simply blast your way through the story, because MaxStack will have something to say about that. The release of Phantom Liberty goes accompanied with the 2.0 update, and many new gameplay mechanics have been introduced, like the much requested ability to shoot and drive. Also, the skill trees have had a massive overhaul, with awesome new abilities, and the world just feels so much more alive. It's awesome. But most of all, I can finally get changed in public. It's enough blabbering, so let's take a look at some settings. For your enjoyment, I found this nicely heavily traveled area. And here are some settings with low, medium, high, ultra, and Steam Deck without FSR. Without FSR, performance tanks to pretty much below acceptable levels for every setting. The Steam Deck preset and the low setting are tolerable at 27 to 30 frames per second, but the rest are way below. If we look at the same settings with FSR, things look a lot more rosy. The Steam Deck preset looks very decent at 30 to 35 frames per second. And even the high preset is decent at 27. Ultra dips a bit lower at 23 to 24 frames per second. Lastly, let's look at the different FSR modes for Steam Deck preset. This is interesting. As you can see, if you're willing to sacrifice some graphics, you can really boost the frames per second with the Ultra Performance mode. And partial to Quality mode, which still seems to hold stable at 33 frames per second. They're not too shabby. Now that we've seen all that, it's time to put Valve's preferred setting to the test. But we're not that kind of channel. So she lived happily ever after. As you can see, the frame rate holds up pretty well, even in some pretty hectic firefights. Occasionally a drop to 25 or 26 frames per second, but overall, I think it looks great. And here's a little driving test before we wrap up. As you can see, this is also decently stable, with the occasional drop due to the loading of a new area. Before I cap it all off, just take a look for yourself how amazing this game looks. And that's the story of Phantom Liberty on the Steam Deck. It doesn't run perfect, even though Valve has left its stamp of approval on there. And I think many people will say that it doesn't run well enough to play on the Steam Deck yet. But I say, as an avid believer and player of handhelds, the Steam Deck has pulled off another miracle. And it gives me hope for the Steam Deck and other AAA releases that are coming up. If you can live with some downgrades in graphics and frame dips, then this is a great game on the deck. It looks amazing on the tiny screen, and the performance, although not perfect, is totally passable. Me, that is, but judge for yourself. Let's celebrate another win for the Steam Deck. Yes, I'm a fanboy, I know. As always, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, and take a look at this video if you're in need for a totally decent Steam Deck starter guide. You don't want to miss these 42.5 tips and tricks. Who am I kidding? Just play Aperture Desk Job. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the next one.